I want to talk about launching lots of low-end products. And when I say low-end products, I mean stuff that's under $100 for each purchase. Now, what I'm talking about is how do you get lots of people to purchase that product? How do you figure out what the right thing is to make? How do you not crash and burn and spend a lot of time crying and doubting yourself? Because realistically, guess what? That's probably what's going to happen. The first time you launch something, it's probably not going to work very well, but this whole business of working for yourself is you really do have to just pick yourself back up and kind of do it again. Now, the only thing that really prepares you or kind of, I guess, guards against that possibly happening is if you're launching things to an already warm market. Now, what am I talking about? So I come from the background of having a physical face-to-face reputation with people, being a personal trainer for 20 years myself, and having networked in various different states across the country that I live in because I've moved location a lot. So it meant that I had to set up things quite quickly, even when I moved, to the point where I would need contractors and or staff to help manage the load, like usually within a month or two that things would grow that fast. And then this was kind of all before social media days. And what I've realized is that there's social media followings online that people might have of between 10,000 and 100,000 followers. And I can promise you this, if you're comparing yourself to those people, they don't necessarily have a big bank balance. They don't have necessarily the ability to turn that into money and cash flow. Why? It's not because they're not selling, maybe a lot of low-end products, but it might be because they actually just don't know how to, I guess, sell and enroll things, and maybe they're not really good at actually helping people get the result. I don't know. There is a little bit of a disconnect though, and that's just my personal observation with even helping people who do have a large following and turning that into money for them. Because I can guarantee you there's no need to be jealous of someone who does have a large following online, because it doesn't necessarily mean it translates to money. What I do know though is that networking and meeting people and having relationships with people can't be surpassed. So where is this all going? My point is, if you already have established relationships and credibility in a certain field, that will outweigh 10,000 followers that you actually don't know, that haven't really engaged in consuming, I guess, a lot of your material with, full belief and love, because the face-to-face relationship really does surpass anything that happens online. Only because we're human beings and we're not really living in a virtual reality world. Now, you might be watching this video, and while video is great to connect, and it's very hard for me to hide because it's not an Instagram photo, even though I don't do those kind of Instagram photos that I kind of polish anyway, they're all kind of me in bad lighting anyway. But that's actually purely comes because that's the easiest way for me to do it. It's probably because I'm actually lazy. So the easiest way for me to connect is video. Now, where is this all going? What my point is, I guess, is that if you actually want to launch a lot of low-end products and hope to make money, you need a lot of eyes to actually have a look at your product or your sales page. Now, if you don't, to get like a 1% conversion, that's the expectation, a 1% conversion. So you know now that you will need, 100 people to look at a sales page before one person buys, if the sales page is written properly. So if the conversion is not 1%, then the page is probably not written properly. If 100 people open the email and one person buys it, that's a good thing. It's a lot of eyes on something, right? Whereas who I'm speaking to specifically are coaches who are experienced, or yourself right now in your business, and you're known for your niche of the thing that you do. You already actually have a very warm market. If you were to help those people somehow, engage them another way, how, and or offer them a thing, your conversion rate is going to be a lot higher. Let's put it that way. Even if it was 20%, wouldn't that be amazing? So I think sometimes there can be a bit of a disconnect when you're launching something online and you think, yes, I'm going to go do this thing. And then you think, I'm going to go right over here. And you might be a professional in helping people with their backs, but you want to launch a menopause product. And that's great. But no one in the menopause space knows you. Or you might be an expert in the hormonal space and you want to all of a sudden help people with their glutes functionality or whatever's got to do with someone's glutes. You get my point? Like, It's still within the health field, but it's a slightly different niche. The people's needs and wants and desires and their pain points are totally different. So the conversation needs to happen around that's different. And if you're not already known by the people that have that problem, then it's obviously going to be hard to launch a thing, no matter what the price is, even if it's free. It's harder to launch that thing because it's new. So the first thing that has to happen is you actually need to build credibility within that space. The easiest thing to do is build an audience and get them looking at your stuff to generate the, I hate marketing terms, but to generate the know, like, trust factor, which is really just, you know, somebody understanding that your stuff can help them, I guess. And if you're a consultant or a coach or a health coach in particular, you already know how to do that. That part of the consultation is what we call building rapport. You know, that stuff like when you have a meeting with someone and you automatically make them feel comfortable because you're already really good at that stuff. This is the other thing that online people won't teach you. There's online people doing sales pages and all that kind of stuff aren't usually really good at building rapport. But guess what? You as a health coach are freaking awesome at building rapport with people. So go out there, build rapport, and or make some videos, because I know it's hard and scary and, you know, whatever. You know, it's very rare for me to actually brush my hair, but look, I did today. So when you've brushed your hair, make a couple of videos and you're not sweaty. And make sure that you're known in that arena for helping people with that thing. Now, the reason I'm making this content here, this video here today specifically, is because there are far too many well-known coaches that think that they have to flip themselves upside down or turn themselves inside out to get any traction in the online world. And what I'm trying to get across to you is that it's actually virtually the same. Just don't try to reinvent yourself and be the elbow specialist and then all of a sudden go into the ankle business. As in, you can do that, but just know that if you do that, there'll be a bit of disconnect, there'll be a lot of tears, there'll be, why is this not working? And that's okay, because it is going to be like that for a while until you build the reputation that you had over here with fixing elbows. So just know that it takes a bit of a time for people to get to know, like, trust you and that kind of stuff again. And there's no reason that you can't get yourself known in the physical sense as well, and you should too, because if you're anything like me and the girls that I coach, it's much actually easier for you to show up, do the appointment, you know, be told to do the thing. Like, for example, one of the things that I've personally done over the years, a lot of this, I wish I had taken a photo of everything, was I've done a lot of seminars over the years. And as I've done the seminar ended up being the free PDF gift that I gave away online, that I used to get people into my groups because that's where the handout was. It used to be on my website as the free gift. So it's built rapport, and it's, I don't know, I've ended up having people share it, and it's kind of built traction online. But for a stranger to start going through that process of learning to know, like, and trust me, it actually takes hours and hours usually of that person consuming your stuff. But I will say it can be shortened by understanding marketing a little bit better than you probably do now. And if you're a fitness and health coach or anything to do with that realm, please feel free to ask me any questions about that stuff, because it shouldn't take, for example, 3 years between the lifespan of when someone starts to follow you when they actually decide to take action. It can take that long. But if your messaging is good and your marketing is good, and it's not just like filming yourself doing workouts and or sharing recipes, another video I need to make. If it's not just that stuff, then they will actually engage in you quite a lot faster, because there's a bit of a disconnect. So if that's you, feel free to send me a message on here. Otherwise, make sure you're in my free group for coaches, and I will talk to you soon.